When we first came to Australia, we landed up in Perth, which is where my parents had recently immigrated to. And whilst we liked Perth and we liked the people there, we felt that we'd like to explore before we settled. And Marion and I got on the back of a motorbike and decided we'd travel until we found a place that we liked. And when we came up onto the tablelands for the first time, we decided that regardless of the business, this is where we felt the most comfortable. I suppose I always had a desire to work on the land. And I did my work as well, you know, coffee prices were high and they'd just come off a high, and I thought, well, if I buy now, it'll go back. And how hard can farming be anyway? So we jumped in and bought the coffee farm. When we first started here, we did all the work ourselves, so we were a family operation. The challenges actually just sort of stacked up with, you know, as we went, how do you produce coffee regularly, how do you get it to flower at the right time? We were very lucky in the first few years that people were prepared to accept an Australian coffee because it's unique and we were the only people producing. I remember I was at that stage chairman of the very fledgling Australian Coffee Growers Association, and the people who'd been there for a long time or had joined us from overseas said you can't change the taste of coffee. And the rest of the world said you can't, you're stuck with what you've got. But we found that we could change it, and we then started working with our clients who were buying our coffee and saying, geez, what are you guys looking for in our coffee? And they said, we want something unique, something rich, something bold, something Australian. And so we worked with our clients to produce them a really nice coffee. And most of that coffee is exported. We have very strong markets in Europe and in Japan. We export to the largest roasting company in Japan and the smallest. Sainsbury's has been one of our very best customers in the UK. And we've also been the coffee of choice in the Houses of Parliament in the UK. You know, we figured that if we could really get into the tourism market and bring 100,000 people here a year who could taste the coffee, this was one way of getting directly to the consumer, to showcase us not as a coffee business, but showcase our coffee and showcase Skybury, our company, as world leaders in the coffee business. And we've been open 5 months now and have had 25,000 visitors through here. The government support that we've received has always been above my expectation because I've always been prepared to do things by myself. Initially, when we were, as the Coffee Growers Association, looking at technical difficulties in managing the growing of coffee, we had the Department of Primary Industry supporting us in terms of horticulture. Coffee is one of those things that everybody who gets involved in it become quite passionate in it. And so, yes, we're passionate about our business, but we're delighted it's successful as well, because I think that makes a business